Let's turn to events in Haiti now, where the capital, Port-au-Prince, their gangs now control 90% of the city. The police are outnumbered and outgunned. Government authority has all but collapsed, and ordinary Haitians are trapped in a daily struggle for survival. In the past 6 months, more than 4,000 people have been killed. That's compared to 5,600 fatalities recorded in total last year. Cuts to US aid are compounding the crisis, leaving already vulnerable communities without food, healthcare or protection. Over 1 million people have been forced to flee their homes as violence and insecurity spread. But it's women and children who are suffering the most. 1 in 5 victims of sexual violence is a child, and some victims of rape are as young as 6. With rare access to the streets of Port-au-Prince, this report from Noel Al-Magafi, producer Jasmine Dyer and cameraman Phil Pendlebury includes upsetting content.
We're back in Haiti. 6 months on, and the gangs here now control nearly all the capital, Port-au-Prince. The violence and horror here is relentless.
We're not gonna let them come here and kill us, steal everything we have, burn cars, burn houses, kill kids. They don't care, they kill anything.
A complete breakdown of society, where women and children suffer most.
They raped me. I had my 6-year-old with me. They raped her too.
A country where 1 in 5 victims of sexual abuse are under the age of 18.
Port-au-Prince is the worst place in the world to be a woman.
Haiti is on the brink of collapse.
We've just been shot at by one of the gangs, and they've shot our front tire, which has gone flat.
And the fight is intensifying.
When we're fighting, we are possessed. We are no longer human. We become the devil.
This is the front line of a growing war against the gangs. This is Delmas 30, the scene of a recent gang attack. Women were raped, families murdered, an entire neighborhood now in ruins. Rodrigue is going back for the first time and is taking us with him.
So the gangs are stationed about 2 blocks away, and we're going into Rodrigue's neighborhood, which is still contested territory. We're being escorted by vigilantes. They are basically civilians who are trying to keep the neighborhood safe. They're filling in the security vacuum. All right, they're ready for us to go in. Let's go.
The vigilantes signal to snipers on the roof of a nearby bank. They're protecting the area to keep the gangs from returning, and they are close. The neighborhood is a maze of alleyways. At every open space, we have to run to avoid being spotted by the gangs. Finally, we reach the ruins of Rodrigue's home.
I'm going to follow him up there.
This is my bedroom. This is the kids' room. This is where I cooked. The bathroom is at the back. We had a good life here.
Yeah.
We were sleeping. It was 5:30 in the morning, and we had the ambush, shooting and fire. We had no choice but to flee. There were so many victims, people killed. They carried them out in wheelbarrows. People were hacked to death. So many victims.
The atmosphere is tense, and suddenly our visit is cut short.
All right. We don't know who shot. Do we know for sure?
Yeah, it is the bank.
So we've just heard some shooting, and we've been told that it's probably the snipers from the bank, but we're worried that the gangs may retaliate at any moment, so we're going to leave.
The battle against the gangs is intensifying. And it's not just the bullets people fear. Rape is being used as a weapon. We're at a safe house in the suburbs of Port-au-Prince. It's home to dozens of young women and girls. They're victims of the most heinous crimes, exposed far too early to the cruelty of mankind. This girl is a survivor of rape.
We've come here to interview women who are victims of sexual violence, but I'm blown away by how young they are. Young girls holding on to babies. The youngest victim of rape is 12 years old and the eldest is only 19.
Hélène was 17 when she was captured. She's now 19 years old and a single mother.
The gangs took over our neighborhood, and as we fled, they caught me.
She was held captive for over 2 months.
They raped and beat me. Sometimes I think about ending it all. They made me do things and said they'd kill me if I didn't agree. But then I fell pregnant and they told me to abort the pregnancy, but I said no. This baby could be the only one I ever have.
While the gang was fighting, she managed to escape.
I always dreamt of going to school, to learn, and to make something of myself. I always knew I'd have children, just not this young.
In Haiti, rape has been used to terrorize and subjugate entire communities.
The statistics of how the violence is impacting women in Haiti are staggering. Tell me more about what you're seeing.
Port-au-Prince is the worst place in the world to be a woman. Why? Because the violence is around you. The women have to flee their houses. They flee without nothing. They are in centers where there is no water, no sanitation, they are overcrowded, and they suffer from direct violence because they are exposed, both in the centers as well as in the streets, to the men that are attacking them because they are powerless to defend themselves.
Haiti's most notorious gangs have united, forming a powerful coalition called Vivre Ensemble, meaning live together. We're entering their territory to meet one of their leaders. They told us not to film, but this is what we were able to capture. An area in ruins with barely any signs of life. Vag and his men were responsible for the Delmas 30 attack. This is his first interview.
I mean, look around you. People have been uprooted from their homes. Civilians have been killed. Women have been raped. Children have been murdered. Do you have any remorse?
When we're fighting, we are possessed. We are no longer human. We become the devil. Do you understand? We are people when, like this, you sit and talk to us, but if we're cornered, we'll come out swinging.
You know, we spoke to victims of the attack in Delmas 30, and some of their testimony is the worst I've ever heard. Why would you inflict such horror on your own people?
As a gang leader, it's my duty to fight. I will never give up until the state sits down with us. The dialogue will be good for us, but until then, we'll fight. It's the wealthy state that has decided to take us on.
How many people have you killed?
That's a difficult question because I'm fighting. Sometimes I kill people without even seeing them. They get shot and they die. Then we take their bodies and burn them. These chains I'm wearing belong to the people I've killed. Chains, rings, I take them and wear them to command the spirit of the dead.
And this is the view from those sent in to confront the gangs. The Kenyan forces arrived a year ago. Heavily armed and equipped with armored vehicles, they rarely leave. But in the 6 months since we were last here, the gangs have only become more organized and more powerful.
So we've just entered the area of Pakor, which is yet another neighborhood in this city that's completely controlled by gangs now. Oh, I think they can see one of the gang members.
Within minutes, we come under fire.
We've just been shot at by the gangs, and it seems like they've aimed for the tires. Our front tire is now flat, and so we're looking for a safe place to park and assess the damage. I mean, there's only so much that the Kenyan police can do from inside this vehicle. They are outnumbered. There are thousands of men out there that have joined the ranks of the gangs.
Moments later, a bus full of civilians turns towards us, narrowly avoiding the crossfire. This is the kind of everyday terror they live with. With no success and our vehicle out of action, the patrol ends. But the Kenyans are no longer the only foreign fighters in town. We've been told by a source within the Haitian security force that they've hired private military contractors from the US. They're fighting the gangs with drones. They say one of them is led by Eric Prince, former Navy SEAL and Blackwater founder, and that he's recruiting mercenaries to deploy on the ground. Prince didn't respond to our request for comment. The mercenaries are already making gains. Gang leader Tilaple, who we interviewed 6 months ago, is the one targeted in this video. He's now said to be in critical condition.
The fight against you right now is really ramping up. There are American mercenaries that are going to come. There are drones being used. Are you not worried?
The mercenaries who are making these plans, who are plotting against us, the only thing I would say to them is, how will they differentiate between us and the rest of the population? What would they do when we hide amongst the people? Are they going to destroy all of Port-au-Prince?
But Port-au-Prince is already being destroyed, street by street. The fighting has driven over 1 million people from their homes to places like this. A former public works ministry, now home to thousands of people, including Rodrigue. A tailor by trade, the only thing he could save was his sewing machine.
It's been 3 months and we're still here. I can't stay here with my wife and kids. This life wasn't mine. At 61, I can't start over. What am I going to do? There are no jobs, no nothing. The Haitian government is responsible. The gangs are in charge now. If the government had acted to protect us, would never have gotten to this point. It's the failures of the government which have led us here.
Everyone here in this IDP camp, and there are thousands of people, were uprooted from that one attack in Delmas 30. And that's what these gangs do. They go in and their brutality is hard to describe, but they uproot people from life as they know it.
Gernose and her 4 children live in these 2 rooms along with 20 of their extended family.
I lost my home in Delmas 30. They burnt it to the ground. They killed my auntie and my uncle. I want to go home, but there's nowhere for me to go. I used to be able to feed myself, but now I can't. I'm losing weight and I'm walking the streets in rags.
Haiti's long been one of USAID's largest recipients of funding. And for the people here, it is a lifeline. But as President Trump cracks down on what he calls wasteful spending, that lifeline is about to be cut.
Today you are seeing the last food we have from the US government. It has arrived from the US and is now being distributed. But we will run out, we will not have no food. If we stop giving food to the vulnerable women that are in displaced centers and the women that are in host families, they will have to find this food somehow. And that will make them very vulnerable, much more vulnerable they are now.
As food supplies run dangerously low, so does the resilience of those most at risk. At another women's shelter across town, we meet more survivors of sexual violence. Their stories are very distressing.
They shot my husband, they shot my little brother. At the same time, they went over to my 16-year-old daughter who was sleeping. Luckily for me, she was bleeding, so they didn't rape her.
They raped me. I had my 6-year-old with me. They raped her too. Our neighborhood was ambushed. I went back home only to find my mom, my dad, my sister. All were murdered.
Their testimony shows a pattern of rape, murder, and arson. MSF data shared with us exclusively show that it's only getting worse. The number of sexual abuse victims they've seen has nearly tripled since 2021.
Patients have started to share very, very difficult stories since 2021. They were always harrowing stories. Nowadays, survivors talk about 2 or 4 or 7 or up to 20 aggressors.
So you're saying one woman raped by 20 men?
Yes. Yes. Some of our patients are as young as 6 years old, and on average, 20% of the patients are under the age of 18.
And in this neighborhood, the risk to women and children is ever present. This area is right on the front line. The gangs are just a few hundred meters down the street. Vigilantes stand guard, protecting their territory. Mike is one of them. I ask why so many young boys are joining the gangs.
Because they give them money. If kids that in the ground like don't have no money, they like hard to leave. So of course they go join them.
Despite the government contracting in security reinforcements, for many it is too little, too late. They've been left to fend for themselves, taking matters into their own hands.
We're not gonna let them come here and kill us, steal everything we have, burn cars, burn houses, kill kids. They don't care, they kill anything. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna quit.
The gunshots are getting really close. They made me jump. But when I look around, everyone looks really calm, and it's because of how used to it they are.
As Haiti continues to battle itself, its people are desperate for some relief, longing for a life of peace and not just survival.
Nawal Al-Maghafi and the team reporting there, and you can get more details on that story on the BBC News website.